I love The Thing. In my opinion, John Carpenter and crew created a masterpiece that I've been watching since I was a kid in the 1980s. Every time I watch it, I discover something new. And one thing that I have often debated about in my own mind has had really to do with the ending of the film. While I think the film is notorious for its gripping suspense and, groundbreaking practical effects, it does leave the viewer with one of the most hauntingly ambiguous endings in horror cinema. In this video, we're going to explore some of the different theories about what really happened in those final moments and whether the thing survived. As the film nears its climax, we find ourselves in the smoldering ruins of the Antarctic Research Station. Camp is destroyed. A desperate measure to stop the shape-shifting alien creature from escaping into the world has taken place. We're left with just two survivors, MacReady, played by Kurt Russell, and Childs, played by Keith David, both amazing in their roles. They're exhausted, suspicious, and uncertain of each other's true nature. They share a drink in the freezing cold, facing an uncertain fate. As a fan of cinema, the tension in this scene is delightful. Carpenter masterfully leaves us, the audience, teetering on the edge, questioning whether MacReady, Childs, or both could still be the thing. Neither character can be sure of the other's humanity, and by extension, neither can we. The film cuts to black, leaving their and our questions unanswered, providing a perfect soil for various fan theories and interpretations to spring out of. Carpenter isn't spilling the beans either. In a 2023 interview on comicbook.com, Carpenter said that he knows the ending, but he's not telling anyone. So let the theorizing begin. Here's theory number one. It's one that I often held to when I was a kid and still love today. It's one that I often discuss with my buddies as we would sit around and talk about the movie when we were in like junior high school in the 80s. And that theory suggests that the thing is indeed still alive and that one of the men, most commonly suspected to be Childs, is infected. Proponents point to like subtle clues, such as Childs' absence during key moments where the thing could have assimilated him unseen. Additionally, there's a notable detail about Childs' appearance in the final scene, like his breath or lack of it. You can't see it. Unlike MacReady, whose visible breath mists in the cold air, Childs shows little or to really no breath. An oddity some attribute to the cold physiology of the thing. It's fun. I mean, it is a theory, right? Theory number two, though, is that humanity prevails. This other theory is that both MacReady and Childs are still human, clinging to their last shreds of trust and humanity in the face of oblivion. Their perspective emphasizes the human spirit, how humans can be resilient, suggesting that the film's bleak ending is not about the triumph of the alien, but about human endurance and the persistent suspicion that can outlast even dire threats. It's a testament to Carpenter's direction that such an interpretation can coexist with all the more pessimistic readings. I just love Carpenter. This is why this movie's a masterpiece. Here's my third theory, is that the cycle continues. A more unsettling interpretation is that both men are indeed infected, and it really just guarantees the thing's going to survive, right? This theory plays into the deepest fears that the film is projecting, the inescapability of infection and the futility of resistance. It suggests that the fire and destruction were all for nothing, and the cycle of assimilation will continue, echoing the film's recurring motifs of just paranoia and this existential dread that kind of flows throughout the movie. Theory 4 is that neither can be sure. Perhaps the most philosophically troubling theory is that neither man knows if the other is the thing, and neither do they know about themselves. And that's one of the weird things about the movie that I really like. The thing's ability to perfectly mimic its host might leave the infected genuinely believing they are human. This interpretation dives deep into the concept of identity and self-awareness, themes that Carpenter delicately weaves throughout the narrative. So these were like the four like theories that I would talk about with my friends. Of course, they would become a little more nuanced and a little more complex as I got older. And as I talked about them with people that had seen it as many times as I have, those were the 4 theories. And Carpenter's use of cinematography in the final scene, it just enhances the sense of desolation, suspense. It's the cold, bleak lighting, the omnipresent smoke and steam. It just creates this, I don't know, visual metaphor for the murky moral and just uncertainty the characters and us face with this film. Each shot is crafted to maximize the feeling of isolation, highlighting the characters' separation, not just from each other, but from any hope of rescue or normalcy. The Thing was initially met with mixed reviews and a lukewarm box office, yet over time it's grown in stature to become a really beloved horror classic. Its influence can be seen in tons of films and shows that followed, particularly in how it handles the themes of like trust, identity, the fear of the unknown, those types of things. The ending itself has fueled decades of debate and analysis. It's one of the best things for me about wonderful movies is the conversations after you've watched it that come after and the debates that take place. It just proves that, the Thing's enduring appeal and its ability to engage and provoke us, the audience. So I'm curious what you think. Is The Thing still out there? I'm sure some of you viewers are much more familiar with this movie than I am, and you might know some details or have questions about this video. I would love to hear it in the comments. Is The Thing still out there, waiting in the shadows, or did humanity prevail against all odds? That's the beauty of The Thing, right? It lies in its ambiguity, in the discussion it sparks, and in the nightmares it weaves. It's a film that doesn't just entertain, it haunts us. It urges us to look over our shoulders, to question the familiar, and of course, to confront the monstrous possibilities of the unknown. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment, please. I want to hear what your theories are. What do you think it happened at the end of The Thing? And as always, thank you for living in the past with me.